Daily meditations, daily readings of Mass. First reading for Hebrews. A tabernacle was constructed, the outer one, in which were the lampstand, the table, and the bread of offering. This is called the holy place. Behind the second veil was the tabernacle called the Holy of Holies. But when Christ came as high priest of the good things that have come to be, passing through the greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made by hands, that is, not belonging to this creation, he entered once for all into the sanctuary, not with the blood of goats and calves, but with his own blood, thus obtaining eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and the sprinkling of ashes can sanctify those who are defiled, so that their flesh is cleansed, how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciences from dead works to worship the living God? Responsorial Psalm. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy, a blare of trumpets for the Lord. All you peoples, clap your hands, shout to God with cries of gladness. For the Lord, the Most High, the Awesome, is the great King over all the earth. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy, a blare of trumpets for the Lord. God mounts his throne amid shouts of joy, the Lord amid trumpet blast. Sing praise to God, sing praise. Sing praise to our King, sing praise. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy, a blare of trumpets for the Lord, for King of all the earth is God. Sing hymns. Sing hymns of praise. God reigns over the nations. God sits upon his holy throne. God mounts his throne to shouts of joy, a blare of trumpets for the Lord. Gospel according Mark. Jesus came with his disciples into the house. Again the crowd gathered, making it impossible for them even to eat. When his relatives heard of this, they set out to seize him, for they said, "He is out of his mind." Daily meditations of Alcoholics Anonymous. It says, January 23rd, daily reflection. Having fun yet? We aren't a glam lot. If newcomers could see no joy or fun in our existence, they wouldn't want it. We absolutely insist on enjoying life. We try not to indulge in cynicism over the state of the nations, nor do we carry the world's troubles on our shoulders. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 132. When my own house is in order, I find the different parts of my life are more manageable. Stripped from the guilt and remorse that clogged my drinking years, I am free to assume my proper role in the universe, but this condition requires maintenance. I should stop and ask myself, am I having fun yet? If I find answering that question difficult or painful, perhaps I'm taking myself too seriously and finding it difficult to admit that I've strayed from my practice of working the program to keep my house in order. I think the pain I experience is one way my higher power has to get my attention, coaxing me to take stock of my performance. The slight time and effort it takes to work the program, as spot check inventory, for example, or the making of amends, whatever is appropriate, are well worth the effort. From the book 24 Hours a Day, The Little Black Book. Saturday, January 23rd. Thought for the day. Alcoholics are people whose drinking got them into a blind alley. They haven't been able to learn anything from their drinking experiences. They are always making the same mistakes and suffering the same consequences over and over again. They refuse to admit they are alcoholic. They still think they can handle the stuff. They won't swallow their pride and admit that they are different from ordinary drinkers. They won't face the fact that they must spend the rest of their lives without liquor. They can't visualize life without ever taking a drink. Am I out of this blind alley? Meditation for the day. I believe that God has all power. It is His to give and His to withhold, but He will not withhold it from the person who dwells near Him, because when it passes insensibly from God to that person, it is breathed in by the person who lives in God's presence. I will learn to live in God's presence, and then I will have those things which I desire of Him: strength, power, and joy. God's power is available to all who need it and are willing to accept it. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may get myself out of the way so that God's power may flow in. I pray that I may surrender myself to that power. From the book Today's Gift, Daily Meditations for Families. Saturday, January 23rd. Little girl, where have you been? Mother Goose. She's been everywhere and nowhere, in and around the house. She's been in her room crying with her doll, on the grass kicking her ball, on the floor big-eyed and blank in front of the TV. Her things are everywhere in the way, as if left there to block the path. She learns to be happiest alone in her room. There she can gather roses to give to the queen and receive in return a diamond as big as a shoe. There she can wait for some prince, or dream of crossing the street without looking back. We are all the same way, even as adults. We live with our dreams and fantasies, and our secret lives thrive in privacy. All around us, our loved ones live out their private lives, often unnoticed by us until we enter them. When we honor others' unspoken needs, when we allow others their privacy without being asked, or when we appreciate something they've done, we share the joy of living together in natural harmony. How invisible are those in our presence every day? From the book Language of Letting Go, Daily Meditations on Codependency. Saturday, January 23rd. New energy coming. Fun becomes fun, love becomes love, and life becomes worth living. And we become grateful beyond codependency. There is a new energy, a new feeling coming into our life. We cannot base our expectations about how we will feel tomorrow or even a few hours from now on how we feel at this moment. There are no two moments in time alike. We are recovering, we are changing, our life is changing. At times, things haven't worked out the way we wanted. We had lessons to learn. The future shall not be like the past. The truly difficult times are almost over. The confusion, the most challenging learning experiences, the difficult feelings are about to pass. Do not limit the future by the past. Reflect on the beginning of your recovery. Haven't there been many changes that have brought you to where you are now? Reflect on 1 year ago. Haven't you and your circumstances changed since then? Sometimes problems and feelings linger for a while. These times are temporary. Times of confusion, uncertainty, times of living with a particular unsolved problem do not last forever. We make these times doubly hard by comparing them to our past. Each situation and circumstance has had its particular influence in shaping who we are. We do not have to scare ourselves by comparing our present and future to a painful past, especially our past before we began recovering or before we learned through a particular experience. Know that the discomfort will not be permanent. Do not try to figure out how you shall feel or when you shall feel differently. Instead, trust. Accept today, but do not be limited by it. A new energy is coming. A new feeling is on the way. We cannot predict how it will be by looking at how it was or how it is, because it shall be entirely different. We have not worked and struggled in vain. It has been for and towards something. Times are changing for the better. Continue on the path of trust and obedience. Be open to the new. Today, God, help me not judge or limit my future by my past. Help me be open to all the exciting possibilities for change, both within and around me. From the book, Each Day a New Beginning, Daily Meditations for Women. Saturday, January 23rd. She had trouble defining herself independently of her husband. Tried to talk to him about it, but he said nonsense. He had no trouble defining her at all. Cynthia Proper. To recover means to learn who we are, independent of friends, children, parents, or intimate partners. It means knowing how we want to spend our time, what books we like to read, what hobbies interest us, what our favorite foods are. It means understanding self-direction. It means charting a daily personal course and staying on it. It means defining our responsibilities and carrying them out. Having an independent identity does not preclude depending on others for certain needs. Perhaps we rebel in message, both getting and giving. Maybe we share the expenses of a household or the responsibilities of raising children, depending on others to meet their responsibilities does not negate our independent identity. It strengthens it. We choose where and when to be dependent. Healthy dependency complements healthy independence. Recovery is giving me options. Each day gives me new opportunities. From the book Touchstones, Daily Meditations for Men. Saturday, January 23rd. Spontaneity is the quality of being able to do something just because you feel like it at the moment, of trusting your instincts, of taking yourself by surprise and snatching from the clutches of your well-organized routine a bit of unscheduled pressure. Richard Langley. The idea of turning our lives and our will over to the care of God is a very revolutionary thing to do. We are being told, let go of your excessive carefulness. Let the Spirit guide you. When we are in touch with ourselves, with the people around us, with God, we are free to experiment. We don't learn from doing the same things correctly again and again. We learn from trying new things and making mistakes. Over-control is spiritually deadening. This is a program of life. Our renewal is a miraculous event. Why stop now? We can be in touch with the messages around us without trying to control the outcome. When we let God to the worrying, we find many possibilities open up. As this adventure of life unfolds, I will not shy away from it. From the book Food for Thought, Daily Meditations for Overeaters. Saturday, January 23rd. Working the Steps. The Overeaters program operates on 3 levels. Abstaining from compulsive overeating takes care of the physical aspect of our disease. For our emotional and spiritual health, we need to work the 12 steps. In each of us, there is a need and desire to grow spiritually. At first, we may not acknowledge this need, but as our physical illness improves and our emotions begin to stabilize, we become aware of inner urgings and promptings that can come only from our higher power. If we set aside time each day to listen to this inner voice, we facilitate our spiritual growth. Working the steps requires that we be as honest as possible with ourselves at each stage of our development. A program sponsor who has walked the way before us is an available aid. Above all, we must desire to grow. We have spent much of our lives overgrowing physically. Now is the time to catch up emotionally and spiritually. If we make a sincere beginning of our higher power will lead us through each step as we become ready to take it. Lead me, Lord, and bless my work.